This is the Queensland edition of Nine's Morning News with Sophie Walsh.
Good morning. Controversial MP Billy Gordon has escaped having a criminal conviction recorded against him despite pleading guilty to drink driving and driving unlicensed. Brittany Klein was in court. Britt, what punishment did the MP receive?
Well, Sophie, like you said, the embattled MP has walked from court without a conviction but will be forced to pay a fine after pleading guilty to the two charges of drink driving and driving without a licence. Now, these charges all relate to an incident earlier this month up in Cairns. The court heard Billy Gordon was pulled over by police and actually admitted to the officers that he was likely to blow over the limit, and he did just that back at the police station. 0.094, that's almost 2 times the legal limit. The court heard he also admitted to officers that he wasn't licensed to be driving at the time. He made these admissions again in court this morning, pleading guilty to those 2 charges, but had very little to say after he was sentenced. Mr. Gordon, what do you have to say about the fine? Do you think he got off lightly?
Billy, are you going to pay off your child support payments instead of going to Canada?
How are you going to pay for the fine? Now, Sophie, his lawyers also made a submission not to record a conviction as Billy Gordon hopes to travel to Canada later in the year with his partner. No conviction was recorded. He's been fined $750. He's also off the road for 4 months, which is an ironic punishment considering when he was charged he only had his learner's permit. Sophie?
Britt, thanks for the update. A bus has lost control, hitting a tree and awning before mounting the footpath and crashing into a number of parked cars in Sydney. 5 people were injured in the crash, with at least 1 patient in a serious condition. The bus driver reportedly experienced a medical episode. NRL star Semi Radradra appears set to play for his team tomorrow night despite his arrest and charges for alleged domestic violence and an AVO against him. The 24-year-old was at training this morning after an eventful return from Fiji. Radradra is expected to appear in court next week. Now to a major health warning, with a plane passenger who travelled from Melbourne to Brisbane diagnosed with a potentially deadly measles virus. Straight to Samantha Heathwood for more. Sam, when did the passenger arrive?
Sophie, the woman flew into Brisbane on Saturday on a Jetstar flight from Melbourne. She spent about 4 days in southeast Queensland while she was infected with the measles virus. Now, during that time, she travelled to the Beenleigh train station. She also went to the Bow Desert Fair shopping centre and then she flew out from Brisbane Airport again on Tuesday on another Jetstar flight to Melbourne at around lunchtime. Now, public health authorities are trying to get into contact with anybody who may have come into close proximity with her. It's really only unvaccinated people that are at risk, so if they start to notice any symptoms like possibly a rash or a fever, maybe a runny nose over the next few days, they're urged to get in contact with their GPs. Now, it comes at a time when Queensland has recorded quite an alarming number of flu cases so far for 2016. We've had 4,000 cases reported across the state. That's up from the usual 2,500 cases that we usually see. It's not even the worst of the flu season yet. That usually hits around August. So, Sophie, doctors are reminding us that it's not too late to try and get that flu shot.
Good advice, Sam. Thank you. A man has been gunned down outside a home in Sydney's west overnight, leaving him fighting for life in hospital. Paramedics arrived to find the man with gunshot wounds to his back and arm. A crime scene has been set up at the street, but police are yet to say whether it was a targeted shooting.